Hello, everyone. I am Ije Chun. I'm CFO. I'm in charge of strategy and finance at ABL I'm sure many of you are here from different companies and industries, but we were suffering from a challenge. Maybe you have seen it on the media exposure or articles. Sanofi contract with our company was there was an issue, and you there was a rumor that Sanofi is going to file a complaint, but we made an official announcement. Maybe you have seen it or not, but recently, related to the recent contract with Sanofi and ABL Bio, everything is going very smoothly. So I would like to you ask you to be staying away from these rumors or speculations. So the point that I would like to make is the vision and our commitment. ABL as a company, we are going to lead different business activities. What belief we had, what philosophy we have, and what vision we're going to pursue in the future is what I would like to focus today. And recently, I think people are viewing quite objectively about K-Bio. Many people are suffering from the plunge of their stock prices. Even though there are some technological advances, the stock prices are not going up either. So I think this is a time for us to focus on the basics of our business, and I want to share with what we have. So I just talked about we'll have a vision and commitment and philosophy. If you look back on what we have been doing so far since 2018, what we are doing is a new drug development. It entails a high risk. So you can say that it is going to be very costly, and we can't deny this fact. We can't achieve fruits or results without investment. So then the issue is, how much money do we need? How much investment do we have to make? As an initial company, like a young company, we tended to just put in everything into one basket. So we went through R&D process accordingly. You can see that like this graph shows the recent 3-year budget and spending. We have a history of 7 years, and we built our company back in February or 2016. You can see that for the first 3 years, we spent 130 billion Korean won, and this is not a small amount. And if you look at other spendings as well, we have been spending 150 Korean won, and what we have raised when it comes to capital was 180 billion won. So among the whole business years, the whole history, 84% of the whole budget and capital was poured onto the R&D development. So what does that mean? We just instead of diversifying risks, we put in everything onto R&D. So there were some other comments and ideas about, oh, don't you think you're being too risky? Don't you think you need to do something else to go public and stuff? But we decided to just focus on taking risks because that's the essence and the philosophy of our company. That was the agreement that was made by and between leadership, top leadership. So as a result, there are ABL Bio and other 5 bio companies, and there are different keywords tied to them. Bio, R&D, biotech, antibody, platform technologies. These are the companies that are focusing on these areas. There are companies with 16 years of history, 7 years of history, or like us, 6 years of history. As you can see, within the recent 3 years, we spent 130 billion won, and B, they spent about the same amount of money. A, C, D, E, they're not spending that much money for R&D. So if you look at the graph that we have tracked since 2009, look at this graph from 2009 to the end of 2011. The total contract, 2021, the total contract deal size is marked on the graph. Of course, back in 2009, we weren't even there because we were established in 2016. So from 2009, if you look at the accumulative deal sizes, we have 3.3 trillion won, A 7 trillion won, company B it's about 5 trillion won, and for C, D, and E, compared to their R&D investment size, they are not achieving any results or deals. But on the other hand, that's the total contract deal sizes. But I think what's holding back the most is upfront when it comes to going public. So let's look at the upfront capital. For ABL, we have 107 billion Korean won, including the Sanofi deal that we have made recently. If you add up all the upfront capital, it's a little over 100 billion won. And for company A, it's half the size, B is half the size, and C is also half that B size, and for company D, there's none. So from this, what we can say by interpreting these data is that if we pour and great resources on R&D, you should be able to generate upfront deals. If you are doing enough and abundant R&D by putting all the capital into the research itself, you should be able to get some deal sizes and upfront capital as well. So I think this is the walk and the journey that we have been walking on so far. And as I mentioned briefly, we have a contract with Sanofi. We signed an agreement with them. And to share the content of the contract, even though you've heard of it from the media, the size is about 1.3 trillion won as of today's currency exchange rate. And then the short-term milestone is around 54 billion won. Other milestones are about 1.1 trillion won. So I think this is quite a great deal, to be honest. That's what people say. But at the same time, I don't think our stock price is well representing this value at the moment yet, unfortunately. Even though we have said that we were making a huge scale of investment, and you can see that platform technologies are something that are worth the note. There are many different companies who are working to obtain platform technologies, and we did the same. We have GrabBody B, which is focusing on BBB shuttle-based dual antibody, and GrabBody T is going to work for 1BB-based dual antibody, and we also have GrabBody 1 that's focusing on PDL1-based antibody as well. There are many other pipelines we have. ABL301 is the one that's licensed out to Sanofi, and we are scheduled to apply for R&D at the end of this year. And there are other candidate materials that are going through clinical phases. CONCAS is going to happen in this year as well. And among the other pipelines we have, ABL503 was developed jointly with IMAB Biopharma, and we're going through clinical trials in USA, IND, and for 501, we're going through clinical phase 1, and we have already got IND in Korea as well. And this is not the end. We are going to further add other pipelines as well. So what are we going to do next? This is an important factor, And in the future, continuously, we are going to take risks. This is a strategy we will adopt. For this, we need enough resources. And as one of the resources, I would like to share with you our cash reserve. As of October 1st, 2021, we have about 211 billion won, and we also secured more deal milestones from existing deals, which was around 10 billion won. And for ABL301 near-term milestone, we have also 54 billion coming in. For ABL301 a contract amount, we have 90 billion lined up as well. So as of January 1st, 2022, if you include everything, a total of 211 billion Korean won is already secured and obtained and is scheduled to come into our company as well. So I think we are spending about 40 billion every year as our annual budgets and spending. So I believe for the next 5 to 4 years, there will be no issue in spending budgets for our R&D areas as well. So in the future, what are we going to do? That is an important element. So after the deal was made, when I did the NDR process, the same slides were used. So for grab body B, we looked at many different potentials of this product, and I think there are other applications that we can add on top of what you are looking at on the slide too. So we have first degenerative neural diseases, brain diseases. We have Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, and ALS as representative indications. We have Huntington disease as well that can go under this category. And for CNS oncology, because we're focusing on degenerative brain diseases, and we were going to apply grab body B to come up with treatment, but we can once again think about oncology and neuroscience. We can add this shuttle to brain oncology, and we thought that this could create another opportunity as well. So GBM or breast cancer that could spread to brains could be successfully treated from our grab body B. That's a potential. And for enzyme-related CNS disorders, such as lysosomal storage disorders, this is something where we are carrying out different experiments as well. And aside from these three categories, according to our recent study and research, applicable diseases could be degenerative brain diseases or autoimmune disease or neuromuscular disease, migraines or seizures could be included as well. Neurodevelopmental diseases could be included for the application of grab body B2. And there are payloads as well that are different from what we have over here, even though it's just staying as an antibody technology as of now. Peptide, small molecule could go and be loaded at grab body shuttle 2. So we're now verifying all these options and potentials. So in summation, to effectively utilize the resources we're pouring in, what we need to do is making sure that our product has a strong potential. We're verifying it, and we have also verified some. So, given this explanation and background, I want to talk about why we were able to do it. Sorry that the slide is all of a sudden in English. My conclusion is that BBB technology is going to be the hurdle for commercialization for cerebral diseases. So if you look at cerebral pipelines, there are about 700 for phase 1, 700 for phase 2, 300 on clinical stage 3, and there are more than 1,000 clinical trials that are going on for CNS pipelines. And even though there are a number of ongoing clinical studies, you can see that only 8%, less than 8% of these clinical studies pass the criteria and standards. So you can see that all the experts are saying that the reason why it's so low is because they're not passing or meet the standard of BBB. For small molecules, you should be able to penetrate BBB, and less than 2% of them go through small molecules. And for larger molecules, less than 0.1%, 2% would penetrate BBB. So that means the ingredients or the materials are not successfully delivered to the brain itself, and that is why it's causing the failure in the process. That's what specialists have shared with us. And as a very valuable and priceless technology, GrabBody B was developed, and we are thinking what should be our next steps. There are many different content here that's written, but we are going to continue to pour resources on R&D, and we will create maximum values. And at the same time, we are going to work with other partners to accept and add more technologies. And the fourth would be proving the efficacy. So this is everything from my side. And before I end my presentation, I would like to summarize what I have said today. I think there's no such thing as a free lunch. And even if you're going to pay the same amount of money, if you want to enjoy lunch, you have to make a wise decision. So what does that mean is all the investors out here, do not stay away from the essence or the basics. You have to look for a company that is focusing on R&D. Please be patient and make a gracious donation to us as well. Thank you very much for your attention.